How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Been a couple days since I've actually recorded a video. I know I've posted a few, but my son. You can see the shirt here. My son actually took me to see these guys. That as of time of recording last night, that I saw them. So it was a good time, good show. But that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. What I'm here to talk about is Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Senator Graham is trying to influence the state of Nebraska, which, as most people are aware, is not only is it not South Dakota, it's not even near South Dakota. Excuse me, South Carolina, not South Dakota. It's actually right next to South Dakota. But yeah, Nebraska is not South Carolina, and it's not near South Carolina. So, Nebraska, my neighboring state. Why is Lindsey Graham, senator from South Carolina, trying to put pressure on Nebraska? Well, as you know, we have a presidential election coming up. And this election it looks like it's going to be pretty close in the Electoral College. And as you know, it's been a while since the Republican has won the popular vote. So you can't really rely on, flipping certain states. It's not like Trump is going to go flip a state like Minnesota or Virginia or New Hampshire. He's not going to flip New Mexico. He's not going to flip Illinois or Oregon. Because, that's just the way it is. That's not going to happen. He also knows that he is losing in my neighboring state of Wisconsin. He's also losing in Michigan and Pennsylvania. So, what does this mean, right, for the Electoral College? All right, now, if you break this all down, right, there are two states that assign their electoral votes by congressional district. Those two states are Maine and Nebraska. Now, the way Nebraska does, and they both do it the same way. Basically, Maine has two congressional districts, and let's just say Harris wins the first district and Trump wins the second district. Well, they each get one electoral vote. But there are two more electoral votes because it represents the entirety of their congressional delegation to include their senators. So whoever wins the popular vote would get those other two. Okay, so it could be, 3-1 in favor of Harris in Maine. Conversely, Nebraska has 3 districts, 2 of which we know Trump will win. And another one, which is their second district, it's more purple, but it actually leans kind of blue. That's where Omaha is located. Okay, so you've got the Omaha area, which tends to be more blue. And Nebraska allocates their electoral votes in the same way that Maine does, but they have one more than Maine does. So, basically, let's say Harris wins the 2nd district of Nebraska, and Trump wins the 1st and 3rd districts. Okay, well, right there, it's 2-1 for Trump, and we will also assume that Trump wins the popular vote in the state overall, 4-1. Okay, so we're in a situation right now where if it was only those 2 states, it would be 5-4 in favor of Donald Trump. Now, how does this tie into Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham is trying to put pressure on Nebraska to change the way they appoint their electors. He wants it to be winner take all instead of by congressional district. Now, why does he want that? You know how close this election is, right? It's pretty tight. I mean, in terms of the popular vote, yeah, Harris has quite a lead in the popular vote. But the popular vote doesn't decide our elections. So now let's take all of the blue states, all right, which I'm counting Maine as one of the blue states. Let's take all of the blue states, subtract that 1 district from Maine, and Harris has something like, and we're not counting that 1 district in Nebraska, right? We're not counting either the 1 district in Maine or the 1 district in Nebraska at all at this time, right? Harris would have 225 electoral votes. That's her starting point. Okay. Now, if we add Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, add those 3 states, give those to Harris, she is now at 268, I believe, is where that puts her. And that's either 268 or 269, which is right short of, actually that would put her right at 269. Okay, that would put her right at 269. Now, let's give Trump all of the red states, right, plus the swing states of North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. And we give them the 2nd district in Maine, 2nd district in Nebraska. That puts him at 269. You have a tie. Of course, you can't have a tie. There has to be a tiebreaker, right? What's the tiebreaker? It gets thrown into the House of Representatives. They decide who the next president is. And it doesn't matter which party controls the House, right? Right now, Republicans control the House. So that wouldn't guarantee a Trump win. And if Democrats control the House after this election, and that's the Congress that would vote on this, is whoever wins this election. If Democrats take control of the House, there is no guarantee that it would be Harris. In fact, it would be Trump. In fact, And how do I come up with that? Well, when you take states like Utah and Kansas and Nebraska and Iowa and Kentucky and Tennessee, Missouri, Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, right? Those states would have, even though they have less population, would have more say than New York and California. Okay, and why is that? Because it doesn't go by a vote of Congress in the sense that, okay, Mr. Smith from Alabama, okay, you support Trump. Mr. Smith from New Mexico, oh, you support Harris. You know, it doesn't go like that. No. It would go, all right, Alabama has more Republicans in Congress than they do Democrats. Same is true in New Mexico, except in reverse. They have more Democrats than Republicans. So that would be 1-to-1, right? It wouldn't, and despite Alabama having a higher population, it wouldn't matter. That's one vote to cancel each other out. All right? So because it goes by the state delegation. So if more states, even if they're, you know, these small states that have small populations, if more states' delegations vote for Trump than vote for Harris, and that's exactly what would happen because more delegations are Republican, the people lose. We don't get the candidate that we voted for. And it could easily go the other way as well. Let's just say Trump, you know, let's just say it's a tie. Trump wins the popular vote, and more states have Democrat delegations. Harris could be appointed against the will of the people. I mean, we know that that's not the way it's going to play out, that if it's the tie scenario, it would be Trump that would be appointed president. But here's the kicker, though. All right? Nebraska has threatened to do this before, and Maine has said that, all right, you do that, and we're going to go with the same system so that you don't have a chance of winning this vote. So Nebraska backed off. But Maine, under their law, it has to be done more than 90 days before an election. So they can't do it at this point. Nebraska does not have such a provision. Therefore, they could. They could do it. Now, the governor in Nebraska has said that he's not going to call a special session to do this, which is what Lindsey Graham wants him to do. But just kind of watch. Watch what happens out in Nebraska, because that could make things interesting. Anyway, I'll see you next time.